Imagine a life without the internet, without cars, without electricity, and without any modern technology. In today's digital age, that might seem impossible, right? But in certain rural communities across the United States, this way of life isn't a thing of the past. It's still very much a reality. These people aren't isolated or lagging behind in progress. Instead, they have deliberately chosen to preserve the way of life passed down by their ancestors. Today, we're taking you on a journey to explore some of America's most traditional villages, places that have stood the test of time for centuries, remaining deeply rooted in their customs and heritage. Deep within the Grand Canyon lies Supai, a remote village home to around 600 members of the Havasupai tribe. For over 1,000 years, they have lived in this breathtaking landscape, surrounded by turquoise waterfalls and towering cliffs. The name Havasupai means people of the blue-green waters, a reflection of their deep connection to nature. Supai is the only village in the United States where mules are still the primary mode of transportation. They carry everything, from daily supplies to mail, which is delivered through one of the country's last remaining mule-run postal routes. There are no roads, no cars, and no power lines. To get there, visitors must hike, ride a horse, or take a helicopter. The Havasupai people strictly regulate tourism to protect their fragile ecosystem. Visitors need a special permit, and their numbers are limited. The tribe also prohibits modern infrastructure, preserving the land as it has been for centuries. However, isolation presents challenges. Healthcare and education are difficult to access. And for nearly 100 years, the tribe fought to reclaim their ancestral lands, which had been taken by the federal government. In 1975, they finally won their legal battle, but threats from tourism and resource exploitation remain. Supai is not a place forgotten by time. It is a community that has deliberately chosen to uphold its traditions. In a fast-changing world, their way of life offers a rare and valuable glimpse into a culture that has endured for centuries. Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, is home to the oldest and largest Amish community in the United States, with a population of around 500,000. This region is primarily inhabited by the Old Order Amish, a group known for their strict rejection of modern technology. They continue to rely on manual farming tools, travel by horse-drawn buggies, and live without electricity in their homes. Life in Lancaster revolves around family farming, with vast fields of corn, wheat, and vegetables stretching across the countryside. The Amish in Pennsylvania follow a strict set of religious and lifestyle guidelines known as the Ordnung, which dictates everything from clothing styles to the rejection of gasoline-powered machinery and electrical appliances. Education is also distinct within this community. Amish children attend school only until the 8th grade before transitioning into farm work or family businesses. One of the biggest challenges facing the Amish in Lancaster is the rising cost of land due to urbanization and tourism. As the region grows in popularity, thousands of visitors flock to Amish country each year to witness their way of life. This economic pressure has forced some families to seek alternative livelihoods beyond farming, such as opening bakeries, crafting handmade furniture, and selling traditional Amish goods. Despite these challenges, the Amish of Pennsylvania remain deeply committed to their traditions. Their simple way of life is not a sign of being outdated, but a deliberate choice to distance themselves from modern distractions, embracing a peaceful existence centered on faith, family, and community values. Holmes County, Ohio, is home to the second largest Amish community in the United States, with a population of around 50,000. Like their counterparts in Pennsylvania, they belong to the Old Order Amish, but the Ohio Amish are generally more open to certain changes. While they still reject most modern conveniences, some groups here have adopted small adjustments, such as using steel-wheeled tractors for farming and even harnessing solar power for lighting. Beyond agriculture, many Amish in Ohio have found success in woodworking and manufacturing. Amish-made furniture from Ohio is highly sought after for its craftsmanship and durability, proving that while they distance themselves from modern society, they still engage with the broader economy on their own terms. Rather than outright rejecting progress, they selectively adapt while maintaining their core values of simplicity and faith. However, economic pressures pose significant challenges. Rising land prices make it increasingly difficult for Amish families to sustain traditional farming, leading some to seek work in lumber mills, construction, and even tourism-related businesses. Additionally, as outside interactions grow, younger generations are more exposed to modern life, and some are choosing to leave the Amish way of life altogether. Despite these challenges, the Amish of Ohio continue to uphold their customs and beliefs. Their way of life is not a refusal to evolve, but a conscious decision to embrace simplicity and harmony, proving that tradition and adaptation can coexist in a changing world. Located along the Penobscot River in Maine, Indian Island is home to the Penobscot Nation, a tribe that has lived in the region for over 10,000 years. With a population of around 2,000, they continue traditional practices such as hunting, fishing, and crafting handmade baskets and wood carvings. The community prioritizes cultural preservation, with local schools teaching the Penobscot language to prevent its extinction. They also enforce tribal laws to regulate land ownership and hunting, ensuring their traditions remain intact. However, industrialization and resource exploitation have led to the loss of ancestral lands, forcing the Penobscot people into legal battles to reclaim their territory. Despite these challenges, they remain steadfast in their efforts to protect their heritage. Their story is one of resilience, proving that indigenous traditions can endure in the modern world when supported by a strong and united community. Nestled in the high desert of New Mexico, Taos Pueblo is one of the oldest continuously inhabited villages in the United States. For over 1,000 years, this community of around 1,900 people has preserved its way of life, living in iconic multi-story adobe homes that have stood for centuries. The people of Taos Pueblo strictly protect their cultural heritage. Electricity and running water are not allowed within the village, and traditional methods are still used for cooking and construction. Every aspect of daily life reflects a deep commitment to ancestral traditions. Despite pressures from tourism and modernization, the community remains dedicated to its identity. While they have selectively adopted certain aspects of the modern world, they resist changes that could compromise their cultural integrity. Taos Pueblo stands as a powerful example of how tradition and modernity can coexist, proving that progress does not have to come at the cost of cultural identity. The world is evolving rapidly, yet these communities have chosen to maintain the way of life passed down by their ancestors. They are not societies left behind by progress. Rather, they are people who have consciously decided to embrace simplicity, staying deeply connected to nature and their communities. The question is, could you live like this? Without the internet, without cars, without electricity? Or perhaps their peaceful, uncomplicated way of life holds the true key to happiness?